Everybody, welcome to the show Scrub League, where we review Scrub replays played on Dueling Book. For this replay, I already saw game 1 and just the beginning of game 2, but I'm still going to review it. He is using his classical and signature Aggro Monarch deck. This hand is very monster heavy, and he is actually changing his mind about setting Serpent, because one of the ideas of his deck is to never set monsters, so that way opponents' Noblemen of Crossouts are going to be dead. And this hand also contains Blade Knight and the standard combo of Thestalos plus Soul Exchange, which is really good. And here we can see the classical play in the Scrub League is to activate Charity as soon as you see it without even using and waiting for Sinister Serpent. So we see Prashat and Creature Swap to be discarded, so we are not really sure what he is playing, maybe some very high IQ Scrub League deck. And we top deck pot, but of course we don't want to activate right now, because we're going to have too much cards. We try to attack it with Blade Knight first. And we succeed to make +1, but now, of course, activating pot now is to dig for protection traps and spells for our Blade Knight, maybe Sakuretsu or stuff like that. And we top deck Torrential. Of course we can decide to not set Torrential and just to discard Serpent, but we still, I think, here he will set Torrential because he doesn't want to reveal the Serpent yet, and also we are not sure what he's playing, so it's not that bad. And in concrete this example, we are very happy that we set Torrential, because obviously he's going to tribute summon, and the Torrential will prove to be very helpful. But now we already see he's playing many Prashats and Creature Swap and Brain Control, so maybe he is on some kind of Monarch / Tribute deck, I don't know. But we just continue to beat down with Asura now. And now I would recommend just discarding Serpent, not setting any spells, because this is still going to be very vulnerable, especially to Breaker, and we don't want to risk it if it's not necessary. So he just sets. We can either go for Soul Exchange plus Thestalos or just Nobleman. The thing about using Thestalos here is I don't like it, because we don't have any protection for him. We want to wait for Sakuretsu or stuff like that, or just anything really. So we will just use Knock and continue to do damage with Asura. Another thing that we can be very careful about is Morphing Jar, but I don't know if our opponent is good enough to set Morphing Jar with 4 in hand, just to try to catch us off guard, but still. So I guess in this case we have to use Soul Exchange and Thestalos because we don't want to activate him any flips. But unfortunately we hit Sangan, which is obviously the best card for our opponent to have against Soul Exchange deck. But and the game continues. He has another set, and now we can go for the OTK with Metamorphosis and Scapegoat. And now we continue to game 2, which I hope will be more interesting, and I know that it is, because you will see what happens in the very beginning. Our opponent uses Duo, so first let's see. He hits our Sakuretsu, and now we can discard either Mobius or Big Shield Garna. I would like to discard Garna if I hope to top deck any Soul Exchanges. We play 3. But if you discard Mobius, we still have a Garna, but we don't have any way to use it. Well, this means that if we set the alone Garna and opponent will have 2 attackers, then we will lose Garna as well. But of course the Mobius is going to also be just dead in the hand, so we play more Monarchs than we play Soul Exchanges, so I think discarding Mobius here is correct. The chance to draw a Monarch is bigger than a chance to draw Soul Exchange. Our opponent continues with Trinities and not discarding Serpent, but instead discarding 2 very 2 limited spells and traps, both of them are pretty good, especially Ring, one of the best cards in the deck, I would say. And here we can see the full Trinity. And now let's see if we can manage to defeat this opening. We top deck the Beast Soldier. We have Delinquent, Nobleman, and one of these monsters. So let's see. First, of course, we'll have to use Duo, because we don't want to use Nobleman and then Duo, because we will give our opponent too much unnecessary information. We first want him to discard, and then only then we want to knock. We are happy to hit Fate, because we don't want to. We don't want to see them any more Trinities this game. But here we can either set Garna or summon Abyss in attack. And I am also preferring to set Garna here, even though our opponent can summon 2 monsters in 2 turns and get rid of Garna, but we have Abyss to get rid of his monsters. But also we don't have any protections against Thousand Eyes, so if they take a set Garna is much better for us than if they take Abyss. Because alright, so now we see he doesn't have any monsters. We just pass. We want cards to accumulate since we are down in cards. Happy we drew Sangan, because maybe his set is even torrential, we don't know, because in the Scrub League everything is possible. So I would just we can summon Sangan and attack, or just set him and try to bait out. But I mean, we know that he doesn't have Scapegoats and meta, because if he did, he would already use it. So it's better to just attack with Sangan now, I think. Oh, so we didn't even decide to use Sangan. That's weird. I think we want to go ahead in the tempo, because our opponent isn't drawing any monsters. But now he drew 1 monster, and we drew Metamorphosis, which is dead right now. Maybe we can try to Metamorphosis into Sangan to get immediately for Serpent to discard for Abyss, but this is just too much YOLO for me. So in this position I would just want to attack the set with Sangan. But of course from game 1 we know that he is playing the Koichis, so which is actually sad, because Sangan cannot kill the Koichis and he already banished his Fates. So, but still I would go for Sangan here. It turns out to be Tsukuyomi, which is even worse, because we would go +1 if it was Abyss, but what can we do? Alright, now we may be tempted to activate Heavy, and now even more, because we top decked a Skill Drain. Because if we are going to set Skill Drain, then our Heavy will be very, very awkward here. But if you assume that his set is again Tsukuyomi, then we will go +1 with Heavy and +1 it's Abyss. So we can excuse us for using Heavy Storm here, and then proceed with setting Skill Drain. But then Skill Drain will also make our Metamorphosis dead when Sangan dies and goes for Serpent. So, but we have to pressure his with his set, which we are assuming is Tsukuyomi, I think. So Heavy here and proceed with attack. At least we go for +1. And this is actually, I think, a mistake, because we are supposed to be assuming that the set is Tsukuyomi, which means that Abyss Soldier had to attack over it, not just Sangan. But lucky for us, we hit Serpent, and we are not overextending. Now we get our Sangan snatched and tributed, of course. Oh, this is so fun. And of course now we get our Serpent. We are happy that we don't have to use Skill Drain yet. We first want to compensate with Thousand Eyes before activating Skill Drain. Of course, Garna switches to attack when it's attacked, and opponent takes 700 and doesn't set anything. So now we can, I think the play is to just make Thousand Eyes, but before that we play Garda to defense position. Okay, so he's going to use Soul Exchange to use his level 5 to make a Balter with his Metamorphosis, but this way we are using 2 cards. Instead we can be only using 1 Metamorphosis to make 1000 Ice and leave Soul Exchange for later when you draw a Monarch. I think it's strictly better to just use Metamorphosis on the Serpent and make 1000 Ice to get rid of this per shot. He chained this for no reason, I think. But yeah, we can't attack now, but we can negate some spells. Sadly now the Torrential is not gone yet, so we can't summon, but we have to try attacking with Balter. And this Serpent will be forever negated with Balter's effect, so this means that the Serpent is now in the graveyard. It will not be able to return in the standby phase. So we know that we don't know anything about this set, because our opponent probably didn't realize that the Balter will negate Serpent, so maybe this one for sure is supposed to be something that will stop a Balter. But we still don't know if this is Torrential or not, so we have to just attack. And so now we know that none of these traps, this backrows is Battle Trap. Probably Nobleman. Yeah, so it was Torrential, but still we went 2 for 2 now. Now he's using his BLS. This is one of the best examples of Scrub League tier play. First you're gonna summon BLS, then you're gonna use Heavy Storm, and then you're gonna find yourself with BLS against 4 of opponent's cards in hand. So yeah, of course, the trick is to first summon BLS and then activate Heavy. This is just the Scrub way, the better way. And he wants to chain Scapegoats, which he can't, because he already summoned BLS this turn. But we're going to take 3000 and we are very happy with our position now. We are just happy. Especially because the opponent doesn't have any lights or darks in the graveyard when we bounce the BLS. So we can just bounce and proceed to make sure that he will never be able to summon him again. We said both because why not? He doesn't have any heavies, he doesn't have any fates anymore, so we can just bluff and set everything. So now he gets his light, but it is what it is. We just have to survive one more turn and then we win, especially with this Sinister Serpent plus Abyss in hand. Pretty good. Yeah, and it's over. And sadly this is the end, because Nick had seen enough of summoning BLSs and having afterwards, so he left. I can see why. So this is it for this replay. I thank you for watching and I hope you enjoy. Bye bye for now.